Hey guys, this is Adam. I want to talk about quantum mechanics and kind of get into the more information-oriented side of being aware, and talk a bit about science has basically discovered what the ancient Eastern philosophers already knew, which is that we're creating our own reality. Matter is an illusion, and the unified field that everyone's looking for is, in fact, consciousness. And there is only one consciousness that exists, and that's you, and that's me, and that's everything else that is conscious. All people. It's one field of consciousness. Now, what they've discovered in quantum physics is a bit difficult for a lot of scientists to accept. So there's kind of a divide going on between the scientists that are understanding what the data is showing, those that just simply don't believe it, and those that don't quite get it yet but are still fascinated by it and are still studying it. And there's the famous slit experiment, in which they determined that a particle can become a wave and also be a particle at the same time. And what determines what it appears as is whether or not there is an observer. So, for instance, the car I'm driving right now is made of particles. It has to be. It's solid. It's matter. However, if I'm not looking at it, it becomes a wave function. Now, what is a wave function? A wave function basically means it is just simply waves of vibration. Essentially just energy. And it doesn't exactly exist in any particular location. Wave functions are pretty much exist everywhere at the same time. So, just by the act of observing, for instance, like my phone that I'm holding in my hand right now, because I'm touching it with my hands, looking at it with my eyes, perceiving it with my senses, the wave function of the phone has collapsed into particles and appears as solid matter. However, it's only doing that because my senses are picking it up. So, I guess to explain this a little better way, it's that age-old question of if a tree falls in a forest and nobody's around to hear it, doesn't make a sound. Well, you know, there's a lot of different answers to that question, but the reality is, a tree would not fall in the forest if nobody was around to observe it. In other words, if I go into the forest and I see a tree and it's standing up, then I leave the forest and nobody is in that forest and nobody's around to observe any of those trees, and I come back the next day and I see the same tree and it's fallen over, there was no passage of time, or there was no movement, or there was no process in which the tree went from a standing position to a falling position. As I approached the forest, I decoded the forest and that particular tree as standing up. The second time I came back to the forest, I decoded that tree as fallen down. There was no falling of the tree. Also, there's Schrodinger's cat, which a lot of people are familiar with. Schrodinger was a scientist. He basically said that if you take a cat, put it in a box, and you fill the box full of poisonous gas that will kill the cat 50% of the time, what determines whether or not the cat is dead is you opening the box and looking in it. Once you look in the box and you observe the cat, whether it's alive or dead, is the situation that you created upon your observation. So we are creating our reality. This reality that we're experiencing is just part of our consciousness, and there really is no solid matter. Scientists for a long time have been trying to dig deeper and deeper. What is the smallest particle? Atoms, electrons, protons, quarks, and it keeps getting smaller and smaller. Well, the reason it's getting smaller and smaller is because they keep looking for it. Their active observation is going to create a particle every time. It is the same situation for observing bodies in space. We will keep finding new planets as long as we look for them. Our active observation is what is creating those planets. So, there's also something in quantum mechanics called time reversal symmetry, which states that, judging by the way that things operate on the quantum level, we should be able to look into our future the same way we do into our past. In other words, be able to recall the future like we recall memories in our past. And it also says that, coffee should fly out of a cup just as many times as it gets poured into a cup. Or that, basically, the way we are perceiving time as linear and sequential is not the way that time really is. And it has something to do with the way our central nervous system and our consciousness is filtering our reality. Because the reality is that all time is happening right now. All space, all moments, all events, everything is happening right now. Right now. The pyramids are being built right now. Napoleon is on his conquest right now. We are exploring space, inhabiting other planets right now. All of it is happening right here, right now. It's not terribly hard to figure this out, because at any time, wherever you find yourself, you are always going to be here and now. You can't be anywhere else. What's actually happening when it comes to our perception of what time is and our observation of moments happening sequentially in a linear fashion is that, in fact, each moment in time is basically an entire universe, or an entire dimension, you could say. And as I'm moving my hand like this, I'm actually passing through different dimensions as I do that. So this cigarette box and this cigarette box are not the same. These are thousands of different cigarette boxes that are passing through different dimensions. And which dimension or parallel reality we shift to is dependent upon our consciousness and how we create a reality. Whatever vibration we give off is the vibrational reality that we attract. All possibilities are existing at the same time, and all versions of all possibilities are happening at the same time. So every single possible event that I, as myself now, could possibly happen is happening. There's one reality where I got in an accident on the way over here. Anything you could possibly imagine, it's happening right now. And so when we desire something, all we have to do is put that vibration out, send that vibrational frequency out, and we will actually vibrate into that reality. There is a reality in which you've won the lottery. If you can figure out what that particular vibration is, what kind of vibration you would have when you won the lottery, and then emulate that vibration, you will shift into that reality. So, these are just a couple of examples. There's a lot more in regards to quantum physics. But for now, those are just a few examples. Just kind of solidifying the thing I've been saying for a long time now, which is that there is no space, there is no time. You are right here, you are right now. The only thing that exists is empty space and you. And everything that we see, everything that we are experiencing is a conscious, real hallucination. It's a dream that we have created for ourselves. I did not actually move anywhere, though it appears I've traveled from my apartment to this doctor's office. There was no travel involved. All I did was change the scenery, because motion is impossible in a void, as I've explained in other videos. So, all people are in the same place, because there's only one consciousness. That one consciousness is in one place. The only place there is, right here, right now. For those that don't understand yet, just keep meditating on it, and it will become obvious. That's all I gotta say for now.